We just got more reveals for the full version of Baldur's Gate 3 that Larian hasn't really revealed yet, and this information comes from people who've played the full release at the event, but also from some interviews. So yeah, let's now dive into what other features are coming to the full game. Oh, and by the way, if you are subscribed, I love you with all my heart. The first bit is that the Hexblade is kinda coming to the full game. Many players love this subclass because it's a melee focused Warlock, and when the full list of subclasses were revealed, many players were sad to see the Hexblade didn't cut the list. But I have some good news, because in an interview with multiplayer.it, translated and posted by Reddit user Happy Memories 2010, Larian confirmed the following. Warlocks must choose a pact. One such pact is the Pact of the Blade, which allows him to vote himself more to weapons, create a pact weapon related to himself and so on. The part of the pack that was missing was the extra attack. A lot of martial classes have an extra attack available and Warlocks don't. The problem is that the weapons are balanced around the numbers of attacks per turn. So we added this to make the Pact of the Blade more interesting. Then the interviewer asks, so you have integrated some of the elements of the Hexblade, a very popular Warlock subclass but absent in Baldur's Gate 3, into a normal sword bond. Is that why it's missing from the game? And the answer was, exactly, it won't be possible to make a full Hexblade, but we absolutely researched the class when we implemented the changes to the Warlock. Small details like attack modifiers to make the playstyle possible. So let's explain it easier. This means if you choose Pact of the Blade, you'll get an extra attack and you can use your charisma modifier to the attack, which is literally one of the biggest features from the Hexblade Warlock. So while you can't really play one of the biggest features is here, so you can at least enjoy it in some form. Next up is that even more spells are coming to the full game than what Larian posted in their community update. Many of the upcoming news has been shared by my friend Wolfhard FPS, which got to go to the Panel from Hell event and got his hands on the full version of the game. He even made a wonderful video which goes in depth about all these features, so I'll leave a link in the description of the video if you haven't seen it yet. But I'll go over these shortly. He confirms that the shield reaction spell is coming to the full game, which many players are certainly happy to hear. But not only the shield spell, but also banishment, arcane lock and wall of fire. He also confirmed that the ability score improvements aren't determined by your race anymore, but you can choose yourself where you spend these points instead. For example, a high elf got a +2 in dexterity, making for great rogues. But to play optimized, you kinda need to have a bonus in your main stat. And since fighters need strength, they don't make great fighters. You can technically play one, but they aren't well optimized, meaning you have a lower hit chance and a lower damage output. D&D fixed this with an optional rulebook expansion called Tasha's Cauldron of Everything, meaning you can give one stat a +2 bonus and another a +1 bonus. So if you want to make an optimized high elf fighter now, you can, cause you'll just put a +2 bonus into strength and the +1 bonus into constitution, for example. And I'm not sure if this replaces the choice of your predetermined race bonuses, but I think it will be best to have both. Just have the race bonuses as they are for players who wanna play with the current rules, and then an optional toggle where you can choose the bonuses yourself. Then there's also crafting similar to Divinity games, which is making a return. For example, with alchemy. You can combine certain ingredients to make potions, poisons and grenades. Wolf goes over certain examples, but you have to watch his full video for that because I don't want to steal all this information. I just want to confirm to you guys the new features that are coming to the game. So yeah, the other features that are coming is a keychain, which bundles all your key together in your inventory, and also alchemy pouches for your created mixtures and a food container for your, well, food. We now know that magical items can also have a legendary status, having a yellow-orange border and are very powerful items, and even some are race specific. And even one of his wishes has been answered, because one of Wolf's biggest criticisms was the map of the game. And I'm very happy to hear that they overhauled both the full map and the mini-map. Before it was very blocky and unclear, and now it's confirmed to be much better. Sadly, there's no recorded footage out there of this map, so hopefully Larian will share it with us soon. And these were the confirmed features discovered by Wolfhard FPS. So again, a huge thank you and a shout out for sharing these features with us. Once again, his deep dive video is in a link in the description, so go watch it after this one if you haven't already. Next up is some smaller news, because the user The Most Hated Critic on Reddit has asked Larian if cross-save is coming to the full game, meaning you can switch over your save files between the PS5 and PC versions of the game. And Larian just flat out confirmed it with a simple yes, cross-save is in. Now there is some unclear information about the 72 hours of early access period, because at the Panel from Hell, Van Vinke did confirm that those who bought the game during early access get a free upgrade to the Digital Deluxe Edition, which will give you a 72-hour head start, so 3 days, for Act 1 of the full game while keeping your progress. But the weird thing is that Larian removed that part out of the community update, which said the same. Many players are now in shambles because they don't know if it's still coming. Cromwell on Twitter confirmed that more information about this is coming to the next community update. So we'll just have to wait and see for that. Then there's some other great news, because some developers at Larian confirmed that many of the new implementations during early access or new features that are coming to the full game are flat out there because of players' feedback. Remember the video I made about why reactions are bad and need to be changed? Well, Reddit was also full of suggestions and why they didn't like it. The developers say that Larian read a lot of comments and posts out there and even watch a ton of videos to gather this feedback and implemented changes, but in a sneaky way. Because they don't comment on them but just work hard to improve the game. And the new reaction system is one of the things they changed because of player feedback and content creator feedback. Another example is Halsin being a playable and romanceable NPC. Note, he's not an origin character you can start the game with, but he can join your party later. But this is also because of fans loving him so much and letting Larian know. Else he will just stay an NPC. We know this because the actor of Halsin confirmed this himself on Twitter. But we already knew that Larian implemented player feedback, right? But now we get to see at what level they did it. And this is one of the many reasons why Larian Studios is so great. And in my opinion, the best studio to revive the Baldur's Gate legacy. Last but not least, there's this quote from Vextra Live, who also attended the event. And he played a bit through Act 2, but I'm not going to give any spoilers, but he did end the video with this quote. You could be the biggest fan of this game, and you are still underestimating Baldur's Gate 3. I think it's going to be Game of the Year by a landslide. I don't even think it's close. Now, you and me, since you watch Baldur's Gate 3 videos you know, are probably the biggest fans of this game out there. But even then, apparently, we're still underestimating this game, and I found this quote very interesting. As you are maybe aware, I cover many times how insanely big and good Baldur's Gate 3 is, with its many choices, consequences, permutations, and have high and realistic expectations of this game. But like in a good way, I've played Act 1 so much that I probably know what I can expect. But apparently that's just the intro, because later it's going to get so much better, and he even thinks that Starfield and Zelda won't beat it. Now, this is of course very hard to compare. We haven't played Starfield yet and they've only shown us a glimmer of what is possible. But beating it by a landslide, I have no idea what Vextra Light experienced, but this means we're in for a very big treat once the game comes out and we're in Act 2. Sven quote retweeted this: "Man, Vextra, we weren't ready for that ending," meaning the quote. "The pressure is on now, we'll try not to f**k up. Thanks for that. Oozes of energy through the studio just right now. But just know it's less than 3 weeks away before we can get our hands on this game." Oh, and just one more thing, while editing this video, Josh Drive Hayes, who also attended the event, also confirmed that armor dice are coming to the full game. This is exciting news because customizing your looks in an RPG is something I think is really cool. But guys, I do have one final question to you all. What are your expectations of this game? Do you also think it's going to be your game of the year or even the best game ever made? Just let me know in the comments down below because I'm curious to read what you guys think. Anyway, as always, thank you so much for watching, subscribe for more Baldur's Gate 3 news, and I will see you next time.